was gonna say too, under the miscellaneous, we always call this superintendent report / miscellaneous. I wanted to mention that there was an article this week in the Kansas City Beacon. It was called "A Rubber Stamp or a Rare Commodity. Independent School District Nearly Always Agrees." The article used several sources. I was particularly drawn to the comments of school board experts, Brian Jordan. He's the executive director of the Kansas Association of School Boards, and Phyllis Barks. She's the director of leadership of the Missouri Association of School Boards. Mr. Jordan noted in the article, boards should talk through decisions in public, including what they read in committee reports, pros and cons, and connections to district goals. If a board simply votes unanimously and moves on, the community doesn't realize the depth of work behind a decision. And Ms. Barks commented, if a board votes 7-0, the public's perception might be that they're rubber stamping, or that they're not doing due diligence, or that they're becoming complacent, when that may not be the case at all. It may be that they have good information in their board packet that has all the details that they need to make effective decisions. I particularly agreed with Mrs. Barks. The article described my comments on that, saying, Denise Fierce said trust in district leadership and staff, reliance on district committees, and extensive information backing up the administrative recommendations helps lead to a unanimous vote. I found answers to be complete and thorough during my terms of service. This kind of background lends itself to unanimous decisions as it is factual and consistently compelling. However, I did appreciate Mr. Jordan's comment. I spent hours reading board packets, doing independent verification and research, as well as asking clarifying questions of administration and patrons. As the Beacon reported, I asked 13 questions prior to the June meeting of administration. This is a monthly occurrence, which probably administration might prefer. Maybe it wasn't as many questions, but they are always very eager to answer whatever I ask. However, I maybe should be sharing more of the answers and the questions that I pose in public meetings, and I'm going to try to do better at this. Additionally, I would be remiss if I didn't reflect on the other ISD Board of Education comments in the article. President Knipp mentioned that it is not uncommon for school boards to have significant number of unanimous votes related to school business. Board meetings are used to perform the essential functions of running a school district. A significant amount of work is done through district committees. Board of Education members are provided information related to each item to be voted on. I very much agree with this. Unfortunately, not everything that we do, in fact, very little of what we do is controversial, thankfully. There was discussion in the article if members talk about how they're going to vote beforehand. Mr. Mondane was quoted in the article as disagreeing with this assertion, saying that when he joined as a new board member, his colleagues did not instruct him to talk out disagreements ahead of votes. He also added that he's not sure that unanimity, I can never say that word, unanimity, is a problem because many of the decisions since he joined in April seem uncontroversial. Mr. Jordan noted that legal, real estate, personnel, and student issues are discussed in closed session by state statute. And we read this statute each public meeting as we adjourn to closed session. The items in closed session can at times create more lively discussion. However, privacy and security keep these discussions from public meetings. I would characterize our closed sessions similarly to Ms. Esri's comments in the article that we share different opinions, but we are able to find consensus. She stated, our school board does an excellent job of working well together. As you've no doubt seen on the news, this seems to be a rare commodity these days. While we certainly don't always agree, we are able to come together as one voice. The article notes that as a former board member, Dr. Mallinson alluded that the ability to work together has created a district that improves student performance, passes bond issues at state high percentages, and allows administration to be proactive and innovative in programs like the high school academies, middle school AVID, elementary Leader in Me, our health center, and most recently, as Dr. Hurl just discussed, our exploration of a 4-day instructional week. One last comment, when I get asked questions from students, staff, or patrons, I try to help them find the appropriate administrator to resolve their issue and then follow up with them to make sure resolution has occurred. When emails go to the entire board, the president replies to the questions. This can minimize confusion from multiple email answer threads. I do very much appreciate the CCs to all board members on these items, and I ask that emailers do continue to do this. It keeps the entire board aware of current questions and answers. This is one of the best ways that we can make sure that we stay informed from ones we are trying to serve.